trope.
Explain to people that might not know.
I first found out about the bury your gays trope because I watched a television programme called Winona Earp, which was done by Sci-Fi, and I sort of stumbled across it, and the writer, the creator, Emily Andras, basically brought it to everyone's attention that there's a trope which actually stems back to I think it was 1920s, 1930s Hayes Agreement that said that any deviant, they were allowed to tell the story of deviants, but they weren't allowed to give them happy endings.
Right.
Is that a happy ending? I don't know. For me, bag of chips and a can of iron brew, that's a happy ending.
No, I know what you're saying. So because they couldn't morally...
they were allowed to tell the story because the story is important, but if anyone was a deviant, which in those days was just homosexuals...
because they knew, much like the Anna-Feel effect, that it would inspire normalcy, and which it's a shame
the people at the top said, no, we can tell the story, but they have to die in a horrible way.
Yeah.
They have to learn, they have to be either hung, or they need to die, or they need to be beaten up by a group of...
But what is hanged? Hung has slightly different connotations.
No, gay, nuclear gay. So that was the Hayes Agreement, and that then led to the bury your gays trope in Hollywood, which means basically that they can have gay characters, but they're not allowed to have a happy ending.
They have to be punished for their lifestyle,
right?
Lest it show the normal people that this is acceptable.
Now
Go back to
what I just said when I was 18 and coming out, and what that programme did for me. Sorry about my phone.
This is a professional operation, Allie.
What that did for me. Imagine what that's doing to everybody. Now you might go, they're dying and getting unhappy endings that they never get to have a fulfilled life. And the newer days, if there was a gay or lesbian character, they would, or bisexual, they would end up going off with a man. There was a lot of them that went that way. But here's the thing, doing the research, did you realise that between 2015 and 2016, 42 lesbian characters were killed off over the network in America?
Really?
42. And now Lexa.
What shows?
The 100. That was the biggest one. That was the one that kicked off the biggest storm on Twitter. There was Clark and Lexa, and they had this on-off, this sexual chemistry for I think 2 seasons, and then they got it on, and in the next episode, Lexa was killed.
Right.
Boom. I don't know the shows.
We're not going to go through all
Google it. It's a verifiable fact. It's Googleable. In between 2015 and 2016, 42 lesbian characters. Just lesbians. We're not even talking about...
Compared with how many...
Well,
total?
That doesn't matter because how many gay people are there compared to the majority?
Okay. I'm playing devil's advocate.
It was absolute. I mean, I can't. I think the Superwoman had a character that was killed off. I think. But I think if you did the research, I didn't have the time. I couldn't be arsed, to be honest with you. I was like, there you go.
It's just a 70s living room.
So Emily Andras, who wrote Winona Earp, did this thing where she created an unkillable gay, and she introduced to the fans from the beginning that these characters will not die. They will end the show before we'll kill these characters. It's okay, because do you know what it's like to get invested in a couple on TV and think, oh yeah, this is good, and then there goes another one. Next show, she goes off with a man. But this wasn't even people who split up. This was killed. This was gays being killed. Killing our gays! So she created...
The unkillable
gays. So she created
Sounds like a Morrissey song.
She created a partnership between the local sheriff and the local bisexual, and she on cliffhangers there was the odd moment where the sheriff gets a bullet to the heart and then it cuts out for the mid-season break and everyone's like, oh, here we go again. She actually took to Twitter to tell the fans, don't worry, she's not dead, on the mid-season break, because she didn't want anyone to worry. Really. So
have you seen any evidence apart from in Winona of that trope being reversed? Any elsewhere or greater representation?
Well, I watched a GLAAD presentation on YouTube the other day there, which was putting up a lot of the points that you put up.
Gay and lesbian alliance and dancing. What the fuck does it stand for?
I hope it's dancing.
You should know.
Mega. No, I just know they're GLAAD. Maybe it's diversity. I don't know. But anyway, I was watching a thing where they were talking about, it was producers of shows, and they were talking about the same points that you talk about, that you know, it goes too far. You know, we shouldn't be scared to, you know, if we kill a character and it's important to the storyline, then why not? But I think the 2015-2016 thing took it too far. Of course, gay characters can be killed because we're gonna die, but it seems like the trope was in play.
And maybe it was an edict to begin with. It's maybe become so embedded in the consciousness that people just do it.
You will find that any mainstream channel, BBC, the ITV or STV as it is here, or Channel 4, or any of the big channels in America won't be showing happy endings for gays because they're still ran by the elite. You'll find Sci-Fi, and you'll find, I can't think of all the other little channels, you'll find that they will run with shows that will allow happy endings for gays, but then they get their funding pulled. Killing Eve, that will never be a, although, you know, despite the fact that one's a normal person and one's a psychopath. I don't think that's a spoiler.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Have you never seen Killing Eve?
To my shame.
Oh God, it's one of the best programmes ever.
I don't doubt it. I hear
Cromer,
that.
she's amazing.
I know.
And Sandra Oh.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah, so well, do you know, I was watching, I'm going to do a separate thing on this, I was watching Chucky, the TV series.
Yeah.
And the lead teen actor is gay, and there is a gay relationship, but again they're high school kids, so it's nothing. Yeah. It's understated and it's nice.
That would have been a huge deal in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. But and as I watched it, I wasn't thinking, well, it's a gay character. I was just like,
yeah, which is brilliant.
Okay,
which is that's where it needs to go. But this line here won't allow that to happen.
Modern Family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a big network as well.
Yeah, that was. I don't know if it was NBC It's not HBO. It's one of the. I think it's NBC.
Yeah, that is. You're right.
NBC.
You're right. That is a big. That was it. It did get a happy ending, but it's a recent thing because I spoke to my friend Beck about. Can you think of any programs? It was all movies, and I don't really do movies, but thinking back on the movies, none of them had a happy ending, and it's not until you sort of start flicking through and thinking, oh, I mean, it's changing, times are changing, but that's thanks to TV. It's like your last video about Ghostbusters. Did you not sort of see that young girl was almost
really Egon's granddaughter?
Yeah, Christopher thought she was a little boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
But that was mainly because she was supposed to physically resemble Egon.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. No one ever picked up on that.
But she was not put in the.
She wasn't feminine. She
wasn't put in the box of what a little girl should look like. She was put in a very up to date modern.
You're right, and if that had been a movie in the 80s, that would have stood out like a sore thumb. But the very fact that I didn't register that. Yeah.
We just go, it's a little. But Christopher, 5 years old, thought he was a little boy. I didn't correct him because it didn't matter, didn't make any difference.
Do you know, it's a weird thing with, not specifically talking about gay people, but the gender sort of dynamics, how much is innate, how much is learned. When you mentioned Christopher, that's my youngest son. He wanted a doll for his Christmas a couple of years ago.
I remember.
And I got him without hesitation.
Yeah, he loves that little doll till Mark that eats it.
Until your dog ruthlessly savaged it. Tore its guts out.
Tore its guts out, yeah. She's not into dolls. She's more into Action Man.
So we, from burying gays to burying babies,
dolls,
not real ones. But my take is that if a little boy wants to show a tender side or caring, because obviously I talk to them about being a dad and blah blah blah, how it feels, and obviously they've got the maternal side of things from the mum. If he wants to express that, he is a little nutcase. He does enough like smashing things about and throwing things at his brother's head.
He'll find his own way though.
That's I don't see that as a feminine thing though, but then I don't see fatherhood as a feminine thing. Whereas 60 years ago, grandparents, even our parents would be like, "That's no man's work. What can you do? You know, you deal with that.
That's man's work. I'm going to the pub.
I'm going to work, then I'm going to the pub, and I might be back in 3 days if I'm no tough shit, but I still want my dinner on the table."
Sorry.
Do you know what I mean? Does that sound like someone you know that?
Yeah, you did. We're not going to go there.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I wasn't intentional. That's completely subconscious. So yeah.
Gran.
Gran?
I'm joking.
She was with a
I'm going to pub. You do that, I'm going to pub, I'll see you in 3 days.
Did Gran do that?
No.
I'm confused. But anyway.
No, but she sounded a bit like that anyway.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. She had a nice deep voice like I did.
Yes.
Yes.
So, you've made me
I'm
bringing
sorry,
up my dead
it's 'cause
grandmother.
I'm
You've thrown me off. You
Because
are
I'm
quite
so
funny.
funny.
I'll give you that.
You said you didn't see that as being either
Yeah.
masculine or feminine.
No.
You just see that as being a parent.
And I took him to a charity shop and said to him, yeah, get some toys. First, he looked at this little like lunchbox or bag or something. It was pink, and some random old woman, never solicited her opinion, came up and went, "Oh, what's that pink bag? Oh, you know what, a pink bag, sure, that's for wee girls." And I thought, the fuck. So he didn't want that, not because he felt shamed, but he eventually chose 3 Barbie dolls and a toy Uzi, which I thought like a gun, like a toy gun.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
And I was like, yeah, bash on, mate, bash
Yeah.
on, like, because I don't see.
No.
So I get the gender is fluid thing. Like, women can be presidents and politicians and brain surgeons and bus drivers and mechanics, and men can be, you know, nurses and care assistants and do you know
nursery workers.
Yeah, I just don't see. I was going somewhere with that.
No,
that is a broad
I didn't
point.
interrupt you that point.
But you look at something like Doctor Who, which I know you don't watch.
No, I don't know.
You must be aware that they changed the lead character from a man into
and I know
a woman.
Didn't work.
Well, it depends who you ask. I think the terrible writing, and I watch Doctor Who quite a lot with the kids, and we're watching some of the old ones with David Tennant. We watch some of the older ones, but the David Tennant era, it's not because he's a man. The writing, Russell T Davies wrote most of the, who also wrote It's a Sin, and Queer as
Great
Folk
show.
going back. Yeah, Queer as Folk. How we forget about
Yeah,
that?
but that was on the bridge as well. That was on the that was the 90s too, I think.
We'll talk about It's a Sin because I know we've both seen it, and it was really great. But I suppose if you're talking about Bury Your Gays, half of them die of AIDS. But it's tackling a sensitive issue, and it's unavoidable.
Yeah.
So, but when the Doctor became a woman, one of the ads or the little thing on BBC showed Jodie Whittaker as the 13th Doctor smashing a glass ceiling with a sonic screwdriver. The implication being, it was almost like, it's about time, smash the patriarchy. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, look, the Doctor wasn't a man because he was upholding like thousands of years of the patriarchy. He just was.
It would have been better if we'd had another show.
I think so, yeah. But I don't understand. I mean, I think most people understand the fluidity of gender roles.
Yeah,
maybe
we have
not
Wonder
gender
Woman
itself.
and we have Superman.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make. I know we've got Superman and we've got Superwoman. We're not gonna make Superwoman be a man, and we're not gonna make Superman be a woman. I don't understand why they did that with Doctor Who. I completely agree.
And
But I might get a backlash for that, but I agree.
But they made the Doctor's greatest nemesis, the Master, into Missy in Peter Capaldi's tenure, and it was a Scottish actress who's really great, and I can't remember her name, and I'm so sorry, Michelle Gomez.
Right.
And she was...
Girl, you got it going on.
She was terrific. Like, she nailed it, and it was great, so that it could have worked. It could have worked. Like, well, I was excited.
That was awesome. You go, girl.
Okay, is that racist? Is that racist?
No,
I've gone
it's a catchphrase. It's a catchphrase. Oh dear God.
Right, so I veered off a little bit. I think I was making like lots of points. They weren't necessarily connected.
Yeah.
But they're sort of sitting. They're relevant.
Yeah. It's two different things, isn't it? There's sexuality and there's gender.
Yeah.
Gender isn't necessarily your sexuality. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
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 Two completely different things, really.
But can we go back to Bury Your Gays?
Yes!
How, right, you said in some circumstances, of course, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Now, I watched Halloween Kills recently. The most recent, I think it's part.
You said it was pants.
It was god awful.
I've not seen it.
It's the 13th installment, and what the timeline for Halloween is all kind of convoluted. There's the first movie, the second one, the third one was completely standalone. The second was a sequel to the first, and then I think the first 4, 5, or 6 Halloweens were all like following on, and then they had H2O, which kind of just followed on from Halloween 2, and then there was another few movies that followed on from that. Oh shit! And then they remade it, and it was a completely standalone.
Was this the one with Jamie Lee Curtis in it?
No, Jamie Lee Curtis dropped out and she came back. She's come back so many times. So now in 2018 they did Halloween. It was Jamie Lee Curtis, but this time it ignores Halloween 2 that she was also in, where it was revealed that she was Michael's sister, and it ignores Halloween H2O, where she comes back. It's a direct sequel to the first one.
Right.
It misses out the other 11 films and
Right,
just goes
okay.
boom. And it was really very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. So then they did the follow-up, which is a direct sequel to Halloween 2018, and it was terrible. But there was one thing I liked about it that other people didn't. A lot of people die of all stripes.
It's
but
Halloween.
It's Halloween.
Yeah.
But there's a gay couple, a gay male couple, and lots of black people, and they get killed. And there were some corners of the internet that were going, oh yeah, you get the gay couple and then you watch them being horribly killed and you get killed the blacks, are you? But in a slasher movie, there's a kind of democracy of death.
Yeah.
That's a good phrase, that, I like that.
Democracy
Democracy of death. Like,
nuclear gay.
nuclear gay. And if that was like an episode of Sesame Street, I'd maybe see the point.
No,
maybe that's a bit excessive. But there's something really inclusive about that. And I think it shows in a way how far race and sexuality have progressed in the consciousness, that the writers wrote that and didn't think, oh no, we can't do that. They're like, fuck it! They're just the same as anyone else. We're all equal.
Yeah.
We'll get fucking cut up by Michael Myers just the
American
same.
Horror Story, do people not have an absolute fit about that? Because I think more than one gay couple were in American Horror Story and one got brutally slashed.
But Ryan Murphy, the guy that helms
Yeah.
American Horror Story, is a gay guy.
Yeah.
I think he also did Glee, believe it or not, the same
Yeah.
team that did. What's her face? Tremendous actress. She's in most of the American Horror Stories.
Not Paulson.
Yes.
Yeah, she's brilliant.
Sarah Paulson.
Woo to woo.
Which we, oh, you
Woo
think
to
she's
woo.
an
Oh
attractive
yeah,
lady?
yeah, Sarah Paulson.
She's nice. She's nice.
Yeah.
She's an amazing. I loved her in everything.
Yeah, she's
there.
absolutely brilliant.
She is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Even Ratched, the Shining prequel series. It wasn't really that good, but she was great.
She's great. She's great in everything she does.
She is.
She shines.
What was
It's
that?
alright for you to do.
Yeah. Well, I've got rhythm. I've got groove. I'm cool.
Yeah.
So, but Halloween Kills, I was thinking as I was watching it, that really is a compliment that black woman was shot through the throat and the gay couple were brutally, I think, eviscerated. I was
Because
thinking
they normalised it.
they would never dare in a million years have a trans character in one of those, even a slasher movie, and kill them off, unless it was an all trans cast. And that, I think, tells you about the problematic place that we're in just now. That it's still not normalised. And the writers maybe we'll put a trans character in somewhere. Will you fuck get out of there? You're trying to get us. Do you know? I don't think.
Absolutely. I've been on Twitter.
Oh no!
You have some water there. I've been on Twitter, and back to Emily Andras, the creator of Winona Earp.
Yeah.
She is much like everyone else. She's trying to get her head around it, like the they them thing. I completely get it, but it's hard to get your head around. It's hard. You can't just change your way of approaching pronouns overnight. We're all going to make mistakes, but we're trying. But we're not trying to make anything difficult. And I think she slipped up on calling somebody. She assumed someone's gender, and the whole of Twitter descended on her like rah! And this is the bit where we have to go. I get on my throne, toilet or otherwise, and I go, hang on a minute. We're the people that paved the way. I've been through it. I've been through the whole had to put up with people calling me names and understanding that that's their opinion. I can't make everybody accept who I am, and if they don't want to accept who I am, then that's okay, because there are plenty of people who do accept who I am. And I think that's where we have to reach, because I understand it's new and everyone's fired up about it, and everyone's absolutely right. You should be able to choose who you are. It's not nobody's business, but people will make it their business.
I think the media and the internet have a massive part to play in things like this, because in terms of breakthrough representation, and not, I mean, gay people were always in the, up until the last 15, 20 years arguably, woefully underrepresented. You know, people wouldn't dare try to represent them without, as you say, giving them a miserable, horrible ending.
Yeah.
But the internet wasn't around when Star Trek Deep Space Nine came out, and Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, for the first time, the show had a black lead. Avery Brooks playing Commander Sisko in charge of the space station. Now, and then hot on the heels, there was Star Trek Voyager with Kate Mulgrew, who of course Red from Orange is the New Black. She's another terrific actress. I love her. And she was the first female captain of a Star Trek starship. I think it was probably announced, but you had magazines that have a 2-month lie time, newspapers that maybe didn't fall on their radar. I think the internet was maybe in its infancy, but I certainly don't remember personally going, oh no, fuck, it's a black guy, what's going on here? I went, cool.
Yeah.
He is my favourite captain of the Star Trek franchise, not because I'm like, hey, all my best captains are black, because he's a great actor, and he's a great character, and I love his dynamic with his son. I think
it shouldn't even be a consideration.
But it wasn't. This is what I'm making at the time. I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
Same with, I wasn't like, oh
but
no,
if you'd gone back in history, it would have been an issue.
Yeah, but now with Star Trek Discovery, you've got the woman, Christ, I forget her name. She was in Walking Dead for a while. She was the one that Sasha. She played Sasha in Walking Dead. She's a captain. She's the main character, and it's all the media are talking about are, it's a proud moment, or the black woman, and kind of it's all about race. When she gives interviews, it's all race and a watershed moment, and I get it. I mean, you've probably noticed I'm not a black woman, so and again, maybe there's something of what you described in Anna Friel going on here, and I get it, but it just seems like the internet creates, because it gets clicks, and print media is largely moved online, or that's where everything is veering, and everything's instantaneous. People want a reaction. What do you think about this? Oh, do you know? And I think they snowball it, and then the mainstream media pick it up, and it makes it, and it puts everything under the microscope, and everyone's forced to talk about it, and people are forced to butt heads. Whereas before, black captain in Star Trek, who cares? Great. Oh, I really like him. Not because he's black. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe we'll get to that point. I think it's just because we're all of a sudden, and Donald Trump didn't help things, but all of a sudden, it all just happened at once, and then it's still very new. But I think basically what should be happening is people should be able to ask questions. If somebody makes a mistake, you should be able to guide them in the right way. It just feels at the minute like that everybody is fighting with each other.
And it's funny what you said about attacking. What was the name of the lady who created and wrote?
Emily Andras.
Emily Andras. Like, if anyone's blazing a trail on TV, she's deliberately.
The show has gay characters coming out of. It's got everything, absolutely everything. I don't think they have a trans character. I can't remember, but she is absolutely trailblazing the way.
And yet she gets eviscerated as if she was J.K. Rowling, who... Okay, well not...
No, let's not go there. Let's not go... No!
Did you watch Dave Chappelle's...
She was absolutely... And this was the point, I think, where all the older gays kind of jumped up and went, hang on a minute, you know, yes, we're going to make mistakes, because when it was our turn, these things didn't exist, because it was bad enough being gay, let alone calling yourself any other label. You have to give us time to adjust. Everybody has to be given. Just because I might get something wrong, or just because I might question, I don't really understand.
There is a
that doesn't mean that I disagree with what you do. It doesn't mean that I have anything against what you do. I'm just simply asking. I'm processing. What was it that made you feel that way? What was it that brought this on? Why? Why? How? Where? What? And when? But if you do that with some people, you're going to get your arse in your hands because they're not happy.
Fascist, and they'll go
how
for the
dare you question me? But it's none of your business what I do. No, you're right. It's none of my business what I do. But a world where people tolerate and understand is better than one where people just go, but don't say anything.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Which Gran used to say to people, that was gay.
Oh, did she? That was your... She's saying this, she's great, but she looks kind of big to me.
Alan actually asked me when that was how you sort of approached with me. That was when he found out that I was gay. I mean, I'd been living with a woman for I don't know how many years by this point. 4 years. And he went to school and he went, Mum, what's grey?
Oh really? I was just joking.
True story. What's grey? And I went, what's the colour? Why? And he went, people at school said you're grey. Brilliant.
Well, you are very pasty.
I am a bit. Yeah, I am grey now. Certainly wasn't then.
I meant
certainly.
Skin tone.
Yeah, certainly wasn't then. But you know, yeah, he did. The kids at school told him his mum was grey.
That's both horrendous and hilarious at the same
Absolutely.
time.
But again, we just handled it with love and light.
Love and light. So, have you seen a show that was on Amazon called Transparent?
I started watching it, it bored me, but I wasn't in the right frame of mind to be starting on I've seen the beginning of it. I will get around to it.
It's wonderful, and do you know? But I think
it's like the one with the older guy who
Jeffrey Tambor, who was sacked from the show because there were allegations of impropriety and whatever else. But the woman who wrote it, is it Genji Cohen? Is it the one who did Weeds, or is it someone completely different? Apologies, but the woman. It was
Genji Cohen did Orange Is the New Black
and Weeds, so it's someone completely different. Right, I'm getting all mixed up.
Yeah, maybe doesn't watch TV.
So the woman who created Transparent, it's based on personal experience because her father came out as trans very late in life when he was a pensioner. So writing the show was her way of kind of processing it, and I think historically it's had the highest. It wasn't just. And there was Jeffrey Tambor took a lot of heat because people were saying, why is a trans actor not playing that part? Why is it?
I hate all that. But
this is a man. Yeah. Anyway, you're right. We could spend ages talking about that.
No.
But that's like, come on. But the cast and crew, especially the crew, the showrunner made the step of hiring like the greatest percentage of trans and non-binary people of any production. To date, but more than that, it was a show that wasn't afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, you see.
In fact, one of the sons, there's a family. There's 2 daughters and a son, and one of the daughters turns out to be bisexual. One is sort of like almost non-binary, and there's Josh who had like mummy issues and had maybe been sexually abused by an older babysitter, and he's kind of screwed. I think he ends up having a thing with a trans woman. But
so it's diverse.
It's diverse, but it's when he finds out his dad is trans, he actually goes on to sex chat things for trans people, and they're like, "Hi, baby, what you want?" He's like, "No, I just want to ask some questions," and it gets like, do you know what I mean?
No,
it's quite sweet.
If more people were willing to have the conversation and more people were willing to ask the questions, the world would be a lot better.
Exactly, and it deals. It is sympathetic to. I think is it Mara? What's his name when he's a guy? I can't remember, but I think is it Mara? Anyway, whatever. Moira. I think it's Moira. Anyway, fuck. I'm turning to my mum. I said, Moira, do you remember? You remember who it was? So.
Scratch my back.
Jesus. It portrays him sympathetically, but it doesn't discount the damage that the revelation has done to the family, and it doesn't try and turn him into an angel. He's a bit of a rogue of a character, actually. He's been a selfish guy, and even when he's transitioned, it isn't just like, it's not like, this is a trans woman now, and it asks questions, it probes around the boundaries, it's very smart, it's funny, it's sweet, it's dramatic, and the woman that plays his wife, oh god, she's a really famous actress, big glasses, shit, she's been in tons of stuff. God, I'm really good. Welcome to my living TV encyclopedia.
It's an encyclopedia, you're just tired.
I'm tired.
You're tired today, aren't you?
But you should watch it.
I will, definitely. Like I said, I started watching it, but I just think, I just think other things were shinier, so I went off in that direction.
No, it's good.
Watch The Danish Girl, which is The Danish Girl. Have you seen that?
Never even heard of it.
It's about the guy who plays.
Really
I can't think what his name is. He's in Marvelous Monsters or whatever it is. The
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
No. Fantastic Beasts.
Oh right.
The guy. No, you've not seen that. You wouldn't know who it is. No, it's basically a story. It's a true story apparently about set in the 20s, I think, I believe. where where at the time it was a mental illness. That's quite good. He dies in the end though.
See?
But I think in real life he did die in the end. But he died having the operation.
Oh, bless.
But so that's a good watch. It's doesn't really answer a lot of questions.
Oh.
But back to that, I think that's where if TV is inclusive and diverse and it makes us ask the questions and it makes people happy to answer the questions, then happy days.
As long as it's not cynically manufactured, when I read a novel, I know that the person who's wrote it has researched it. They're not necessarily trying to educate. They are trying to entertain, but it's to elucidate, to open your mind.
It's not a lecture.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I think Emily Andras, going back to her, I think that she was one of the people who said that you should have if you're going to have gay people in your show, you should have a gay person on your writing table.
Mm.
You know, if you're going to have a program about trans, then you should have a trans person on your writing table. You know.
Yeah,
but then, God, that'd be like saying if you're going to have a gay person, make sure you've got a gay person on the table, but every gay's different.
Yeah, you're
Do you know what I mean?
It's
such a spectrum. It really, really is. Every gay is completely different. One would want one thing and the other would want one thing. But as a gay woman, I'm more than happy to answer. Rather than somebody just take an instant dislike to me, I would be more than happy to answer anybody's apart from the obvious.
Yeah.
I would be
sure.
more than happy to answer any questions. Do you know what I mean?
That's good.
But we're old news now. We're old news now.
You feel you're not trendy enough anymore.
We're just not we're not trending anymore. We're just like, okay, all right then.
Oh,
I know. I
miss the attention.
I do. Yeah, I do. I'm like an agent.
Why won't someone chase me down Sauchiehall Street with a knife? For fuck's sake! What am I going to do?
Call me names. Oh dear. No. There you go.
Right. Well, perfect. I think there's probably a lot more to jump onto because
we'll be here forever.
I kind of thought we would go into race. We would go into gender. We would do the whole kind of a semi-political. But there's a lot here, and I think there's even more when it comes to gay tropes and representation and the evolution of it. We can easily do another one.
It started me off on a thirst for knowledge because I think when I read that, and I can't. My memory's shocking. I did think, shall I write it all down? But then what would I look like? Right. When I saw the characters that were killed and the reasons and how there was some...
You could have brought something like that if it was to read out a sample of...
It has fired up a thirst for knowledge, and I am now watching, panels and documentaries and about that exact thing because it's part of my culture, really. I should know more about it. Something that you never considered, but I guarantee you, look at any film from mid-90s backwards, and I guarantee you that there's going to be very, very rare instances of deviants getting happy endings.
I'd just like to say something. Okay, as a white, cis, middle-aged, straight guy, there is a thing that says that I'm overrepresented in terms of that. But if you're talking culture, this is a jumping off point for another edition. If you're talking culture and nation, what did we have growing up? There was Trainspotting, Rabsy Nesbitt, and and Groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons.
True.
Okay, Gregory's Girl and a few
There was
other
one of the
things,
James Bonds not Scottish though.
Okay, and some of the Doctor Who's were Scottish.
That
argument falls on itself. But most of our TV came from England. We were a kind of, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something maybe to unpack there.
But I'm frantically trying to get rid of the bit of an English accent that I picked up while living there for 20 years because now speaking Scottish is cool as fuck.
Speaking Scottish is cool as fuck. You're
cool
right.
As fuck. I'm trying my hardest.
Trying to do a regional accent from Scotland then.
A regional accent? Oh, I don't know. Falkirk to me, it's the songs. Falkirk to me sounds like... It's got a... I can. That's Glasgow sounds like a right wee sing song, up and down.
That's true.
So I'm picking up on the songs, but it's the I'm losing the Leicester. Leicester money.
You've studied linguistics, haven't you?
No, Leicester goes money. Money. They go, you got any money? And I had picked it up in my accent, and now it's money.
Sounds a bit.
I've got money.
Sounds a bit.
Did you hear that?
I can't see it.
What I do.
No, the lesson.
The lesson.
Not
Yeah,
you.
it does sound a bit like that. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it
got a
does.
right at the end.
Okay, well,
Fun there.
We'll wrap it up. I hope you've found this. I'm conscious whenever we always have a plan. We don't discuss it beforehand because we don't want to like make it look like it's not off the cuff, which is what it should be. But inevitably, we've missed things out. Particularly me, I've taken us down some strange avenues, and I've kind of missed my own point by a million miles. What? You brought Rolf Harris up? Yep. That's it. Yep. That'll
Yeah.
In fact, when I do the trailer, that's what I'm going to pick out. Yep.
Die me kangaroo.
You've done enough. I think you should stop mentioning Rolf Harris.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So leave some comments if there's stuff you want to add. I hope it's been informative, entertaining, funny. And yeah, thank you for listening.
I'm the funny one.
Yeah, you are quite funny.
I'm the funny one.
Depends who you ask.
Everybody.
Thank you for listening to
Subscribe.
me and my big queer sister.
My big queer sister. Big old gay, nuclear.
Nuclear gay.
Bye.
Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. I can't say that. Jerry's
No, that's like, be safe.
No, let's just do what we did.
Sparkle. Alright,
No.
okay. 1, 2, 3.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.